Hello all, welcome to Sarat Chandra IAS Academy. In this video, I am going to explain places in news. As you know, for the upcoming prelims examination, places in news is very much important. In prelims, this topic, places in news, fetch more marks. And nowadays, when you look at the contemporary trends of this UPSC examination, UPSC is asking more topics with respect to places in news. So in this video, we are going to look into all the places in news at one go. Like places in news, I am not only going to discuss places in news in the context of international relations, but also we will discuss about places in news from India's perspective also. From environmental perspective, what are the places in news which are very much important? So all those places in news which are utmost important from examination point of view, we are going to discuss in this video. So let us start this session. So we are going to discuss places in news from Indian context, okay, and also we'll discuss places in news from the context of world. Okay, we will discuss about important states. You know, Strait of Malacca is very much important from this examination point of view. Strait of Hormuz is important. Okay, so these states will be discussing, and all these places, Chabahar Port, all this will be discussing. So the first place from the context of India which is very much important is a Saranda forest. Okay, see why this was in the news is recently Supreme Court has asked to designate this forest as a wildlife sanctuary. That is the reason why this issue is in the news. Okay, and why this forest is very much important, why Supreme Court has asked for this. Okay, see, I request the aspirants not to just note about, so UPSC is also not just asking where is this Saranda forest located. UPSC is asking questions in prelims in such a way that, like, what type of vegetation you see. Okay, it is asking the characteristics of that forest. When it is asking the characteristics of this forest from this any environment related place. If from this place does any river is flowing, what type of forest is there, what type of flora fauna is present. Okay, and this place is spread in how many regions. So such type of questions are being asked. So you have to be very careful. Just places in news is not mugging up the place and where it is located. This was a trend in UPSC before 10 years. Now you have to know the significance of the news. You have to know the contemporary relevance of the news. Okay, so that is the reason why about Saranda forest. Okay, it is located in Jharkhand district, and very important, it is Asia's, okay, it is Asia's biggest sal forest. Okay, and in this forest you see sal and teak are the main. Okay, the Saranda forest division accounts for 26% of iron ore resources also. So this place also have rich minerals, and so it you know, when we are talking about Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, this Chota Nagpur plateau is rich in resources, whether it might be iron ore, whether it might be coal deposits and all. Okay, so this region in Jharkhand region, it accounts for 26% of India's iron ore reserves. Okay, what are the geographical conditions? The Saranda forest has tropical climate. You know, India is a tropical country and it has tropical climate. Okay, and when you look at the biodiversity of this forest, okay, what type of soil profile is also very much important. Okay, it has red loamy soil, and also black clay soils. Okay, so these are very much important, and this forest has two main types of biodiversity. One is tropical moist deciduous and tropical dry deciduous. This is very much important. When you look at the previous year questions, whenever a forest related news is been asked, they are asking about the vegetation, they are talking about the climate, and they are talking about the biodiversity also. So is it tropical moist, is it tropical dry, okay, is it evergreen? Such type of questions are being asked. And we just talked about, apart from sal, teak, okay, this forest is also known for mahua. Okay, so this is also very much important when we are talking about fauna, and this has This forest is home to critically endangered species, including endemic sal forest tortoise. Okay, and this sal forest tortoise is critically this has so many critically endangered, and it also has sal forest tortoise and four-horned antelope and those. Okay, and this forest inhabited tribes. See, this is how. See, are you understanding the significant place in news? We are looking into all those aspects. We are looking into the biodiversity. We are looking into the fauna, flora. We are looking into the tribes which has been inhabited. Everyone knows. Once you know that Saranda forest is in Jharkhand, easily you can understand what type of tribes are there. Okay, so this area host, Ho, Munda and Orang tribes. Orang tribes. Okay, Orang tribes. Next. Okay, now you know what are the procedures for declaring as a wildlife sanctuary. Supreme Court has said that you have to declare it as a wildlife sanctuary. By the way, what is the difference between wildlife sanctuary and national park? You know, so UPSC has repeatedly asked about the difference between wildlife sanctuaries and and national park. You know, when you are talking about wildlife sanctuaries, like wildlife sanctuaries, their protection is less compared to national parks. In national parks, the protection is more. Like grazing, such type of activities is allowed in wildlife sanctuaries. In national parks, such type of activities are not allowed. And you know, wildlife sanctuaries can be. This is very much important difference. Okay, wildlife sanctuary. When you talk about the differences, so boundaries of wildlife sanctuaries are not fixed and may change, but boundaries of national parks are very fixed. Very important difference, which is very much important from the examination point of view, is this point is very much important. Okay, wildlife sanctuaries can be declared by GO, but to declare as a national park, you have to pass legislation. So this is at the most important point. Okay, I hope you understood this point. So this is one of the major thing, and wildlife sanctuaries are categorized as category 4 protected area, but when it comes to national park, it is category 2 protected area. Okay, so procedure for declaring wildlife sanctuaries, it is guided by Wildlife Protection Act. State government first determines that an area has ecological, fauna, flora, geomorphological and zoological significance suitable for protecting wildlife. Then the government publishes a notification of intention to constitute the area as sanctuary. Okay, so and district collector will take up the criteria of rehabilitation and all. So this is how all the things which are related with this topic is we are covering it at one place. Okay, so we'll move to next topic. Now you understood. So what type of vegetation, what type of biodiversity, and if Supreme Court has declared, as asked to declare as wildlife sanctuary, what is the criteria? And wildlife sanctuary can be declared by government notification. When it comes to national park, it has to be declared through legislation. Recently, second place in news, you know, Lucknow has been designated as UNESCO's creative city of gastronomy. What do you understand by gastronomy? Gastronomy is nothing but it is a relationship. Gastronomy. What do you understand by gastronomy? It is a relationship between food and culture. If you want to understand in a simple terms, gastronomy is a relationship between food and culture. It is talking about cuisine, it is talking about how food is being served, what is the culture associated with that food. Okay, so Lucknow is a city which has been recently designated as creative city of gastronomy. So this is the second city of India to be designated. What was the first city? It was Hyderabad. And you know, in Lucknow, in Hyderabad, Hyderabadi biryani is famous. Hyderabadi cuisine is renowned all over the world. Even Awadhi cuisine, Lucknow has Awadhi cuisine. There also Lucknow biryani is famous. Kebabs are very famous. Okay, so that is the reason why it has been declared as UNESCO Creative City of Gastronomy. Lucknow is the second Indian city. Okay, criteria for city of gastronomy is that. What is the criteria? How would UNESCO designate that? Should show a deep-rooted gastronomic culture from its food markets and traditional ingredients, traditional spices to its communities of chefs and generational recipes. Okay. Next, third place which is very much important, third place in news is very much important, that is Galatia Bay. You know, one thing is clear from in this upcoming prelims examination, one thing is crystal clear, there will be a question with respect to Andaman and Nicobar, because the Great Nicobar project is so much in the news. Okay, so government is also making so many measures and opposition is also questioning. That is the reason why, more than that, this Great Nicobar project is in the news. So that is the reason why Andaman and Nicobar related places are very much important. Okay, so you know, in UPSC already they asked about what is 10-degree channel. You have to understand that what is 10-degree channel. It is a channel which divides Andaman and Nicobar. So you should know. And what is 8-degree channel? What is 9-degree channel? So Minicoy, which is a part of Lakshadweep, how it is separated from Maldives. So that is through 8-degree channel. Minicoy Island, which has been separated through main island of Lakshadweep, that is what we call as a 9-degree channel. So this was a question which has been repeated in UPSC, 8-degree channel, 9-degree channel, 10-degree channel, 2 or 3 times they have been repeated. So this year, as these places are in the news, so Nicobar related, Andaman and Nicobar related news question is bound to come in UPSC. So please be careful. So what are all the places in news? What are all the issues with respect to this are very much important. Okay, so I'll try to cover as much as in this, I'll try to cover as much as information in this video. Okay, so what happened is, recently Union government, okay, Union Environment Ministry recently admitted before the National Green Tribunal that Great Nicobar mega infrastructure project will have a significant impact on Galatia Bay. Where is this Galatia Bay? So when, see, this is Andaman and Nicobar. Okay, Andaman and Nicobar are supported to 10-degree channel, and this is, very carefully observe, this is Nicobar. In Nicobar also you see 3 main divisions, Car Nicobar, then you have Great Nicobar, then here you have Little Nicobar. Okay, so there are 3 divisions, Car, Little and Great Nicobar. Now this Galatia Bay is at the southern tip of Great Nicobar Island. So this is where you have this Great Nicobar, this is Great Nicobar, and in this Great Nicobar, here you have Galatia Bay. Okay, so now what is happening is, in this Great Nicobar, as I said, no, the Great Nicobar project, there are so many projects which have been coming up. I'll show you. Okay, what are the projects which are coming up in this region? Okay, so what are the projects which are coming up is, you have gas and solar based power plant. Okay, then you have transshipment port. See, this is important. See, some people think that Great Nicobar project is going to affect our biodiversity. It is going to affect the lush green Nicobar. But you know, there is also a significant need for India to have a transshipment port, because now we are dependent on many other countries for transshipment port. Once this transshipment port is there, so it will reduce significant expenditure of India. It will impact economy of India a lot. So this is the major reason why we are going ahead with this port. What is that? Transshipment port. And then you know, Andaman Nicobar Islands are also very much, it serves as a, what you say, lighthouse to protect India, because in this region, the region where Andaman Nicobar Islands are located, it has very geostrategic significance. China is trying to increase its presence. So Andaman Nicobar will act as a lighthouse for surveilling, to keep a strict surveillance by Indian security forces. So that is the reason why we are developing dual use civilian and military international port and township with residential and commercial logistics. So because of this construction activities, all these things are part of Great Nicobar project. So Ministry of Environment has accepted in front of National Green Tribunal that because of this Great Nicobar project, definitely this Galatia National Park and Galatia Bay is going to be impacted a lot. Okay, now why we are not only talking, very important, we are not only concerned about biodiversity impacting in this region. Okay, because you have here, you have Campbell Bay National Park, and in Great Nicobar you have Champins tribes like Champins. Okay, they are Champins are PVTGs. Okay, so there are so many indigenous people who will be impacted because of this point, because of this development. Okay, and you know, recently in December, before this Great Nicobar project, in December, what happened was, Government of India has decided to declare 3 wildlife sanctuaries in this Great Nicobar region. What are those 3 wildlife sanctuaries? Okay, so they are thinking of launching one wildlife sanctuary, coral sanctuary. Okay, Government of India is thinking of coral sanctuary, coral. See, this is with respect to Andaman and Nicobar. That is the reason why in Mero Island, this is very much important. Okay, so Mero Island, in Mero Island, they are thinking of launching, they are thinking of declaring coral wildlife sanctuary. And next is another island, that is Menchal Island. Okay, and here Government of India is going to declare megapod sanctuary. Okay, Government of India is thinking of megapod sanctuary. Okay, megapod sanctuary, coral sanctuary, and Little Nicobar sanctuary. So these are the 3 sanctuaries which has been declared by Government of India in Nicobar region. We are only talking about the places or the topics which are with Nicobar. Now, this was also opposed by people of Andaman, like people living in Andaman and Nicobar. Okay, and many people also. The reason is, these sanctuaries were properly managed by indigenous people. Just now I talked about the tribal Champins or different tribes they are living. Now when you are declaring as wildlife sanctuaries, they are worried that forest officials will affect or will override those powers, and forest officials or administrative officials will interfere in the tribal issues. Okay, tribal rights. So that is the reason why these 3 sanctuaries were also opposed, and Great Nicobar project is also been opposed. Now we understood. So what are all the issues which are in the news with respect to Andaman? And you know, there is also southernmost point is Indira Point. That also is very much important. Okay, there is a perspective of asked. Okay, biodiversity. This pristine evergreen forest is very rich in flora and fauna. We are talking about this Great Nicobar and Galathea Bay. Okay, over 20,000 live coral colonies and active nesting site for gained leatherback turtle. Okay, so this region hosts this. Okay, and because of this Great Nicobar project, we are concerned how coral colonies will be impacted, and the active nesting site for turtles will also be impacted. And as I said, no, there are tribes, Champins and Nicobari tribes are the indigenous to Great Nicobar, rely on the forest and coastal ecosystem for their livelihood. And you know, earlier Galathea Bay Wildlife Sanctuary, it was a wildlife sanctuary and it was being declared to protect biodiversity. But you know what, Government of India to give green signal to this Great Nicobar project, but the sanctuary was denotified in 2021 to make way for the project. And this Galathea Bay also comes under, very important, it also comes under Coastal Regulation Zone 1. Okay, under Environmental Protection Act 1989. Okay, we are protecting these coastal areas, terrestrial areas. So to protect these areas, to conserve these areas, we have designated 4 zones: Coastal Regulation Zone 1, Coastal Regulation Zone 2, CRZ1, CRZ2, CRZ3, CRZ4. Okay, so Coastal CRZ1 is talking about sensitive areas or highly sensitive areas. Okay, CRZ2 will be talking about, it will be talking about developed areas or urban areas. CRZ3 will be talking about rural areas. So this is how there is a classification of coastal regulation zone to protect the environment under Environmental Protection Act. So you can understand that when it has been given highest protection, still Government of India is going ahead with development project. So this is the reason why Great Nicobar project has also been criticized. So there are many reasons why this Great Nicobar project has been criticized. Okay. So despite National Green Tribunal noting that the site is in CRZ1A, a subsequent report by National Center for Sustainable Coastal Management concluded that no part of the project area is falling under CRZ1A. So this is how all the places which are, all the issues which are with respect to Nicobar is in the news. Okay, very important. This is in the news. Nicobar, Andaman and Nicobar is in the news for two reasons. One is majorly it is Great Nicobar project. Because of Great Nicobar project, how Galathea National Park will be impacted, Galathea Bay will be impacted, how coral lives will be impacted. And apart from that, there are also another issue with respect to Nicobar which I have discussed, which is not there in the material, is I talked about three wildlife sanctuaries which has been declared. One is Coral Sanctuary, which is declared in Mero Island. Another is Megapod Sanctuary, which has been declared in Menchal Island. So these sanctuaries will impact the traditional dwelling tribes, forest dwelling tribes, their rights. Okay, so that is the reason why these are all the places which are in the news. The fourth place in news is Nagaland. Why it is in the news is, you see, this eastern part of Nagaland. Okay, this eastern part of Nagaland, you know, Nagaland, Northeast India, we have this, what you say, separatism. There is insurgencies is the issue. Okay, and many tribes living in Northeast India are demanding autonomy. One of the main concern is autonomy. So recently, Government of India, Government of Nagaland, okay, along with Government of India and Government of Nagaland and Eastern Nagaland People's Organization, this organization which is powerful in this region, have come to an agreement. What is an agreement? This agreement paves the way for the formation of Frontier Nagaland. What is that? Frontier Nagaland Territorial Authority. So basically it is nothing but this area we are giving autonomy, a kind of autonomy for their development on their own lines, and this development in this region will be overseen by Ministry of Home Affairs. This is very much important. Okay, so in prelims, many people think that, what you say, internal security related issues are only in mains. Okay, there are many a times internal security related issues have been asked in prelims, like what are the security forces which are bordering, which are providing security in bordering areas with Bhutan, with Bangladesh, with China, with Pakistan. Such type of internal security related aspects was also been asked. So that is the reason why this topic is very much important. So what is the highlights of this agreement? So FNTA will cover 6 districts of Eastern Nagaland. What are these? And powers related to first 46 subjects will be transferred to FNTA. The point here is about self-governance. Okay, kind of autonomy. The agreement ensures sharing of the development outlay for the Eastern Nagaland region proportional to its population and area, and a fixed amount will be allocated every year by Ministry of Home Affairs. Okay, and there is going to be a mini secretary. And you know, when we are talking about states and autonomy, do you know only Nagaland, or to an extent many people think that Constitution has given a kind of self-governance or kind of autonomy to protect the rights of tribes in the context of 5th schedule and 6th schedule. 5th schedule and 6th schedule are those schedule areas where tribal population is more for their governance. But also there are other means of constitutional means where Government of India is trying to promote kind of power sharing thing. Where do you see that? In Article 371. So you know, in Constitution there are articles like Article 371. Okay, Article 371, Article 371A, Article 371B. 371 is talking about provisions which is been provided, special provisions which is been provided for Gujarat and Maharashtra. 371A is talking about special provisions which is given to Nagaland. So when Nagaland is in the news, this article is very much important. So Article 371A is going to be important. And there is also a reason, there is also a prospective questions. They would give the articles and they would ask the special provisions enjoyed by those states. So 371 is talking about special powers given to Gujarat and Maharashtra. 371A is Nagaland. 371B is Assam. Next, 371C, D, E. So when you are talking about 371D, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, D and E. So these articles are very much important. So this is how UPSC would ask you questions. Okay, next place which is in the news is Damodar River Valley. Already you know, with respect to Damodar River, in 2022 prelims, they have asked a question. What is that question they have asked is, there was a question on, you can go through that previous year question, there was a question on Baiton Dam. Baiton Dam. Okay, Baiton Dam is on which river? So Baiton Dam was on the Damodar River. They did not ask about Damodar River. You know, Damodar River is a right bank tributary of Ganga. Actually, it is a tributary of Hooghly River, and Hooghly is a tributary of Ganga. So Damodar is a right bank tributary of Ganga. So you know, like drainage system, they are asking questions from drainage system. What are the, which is left bank river, which is right bank river? So Damodar Valley, River Valley is in the news. Why it is in the news is, West Bengal government, Mamata Banerjee has said that because there was a floods in South Bengal, is the reason is this is because of, from Damodar Valley unprecedented water discharge happened, and that is the reason why this happened. So that is the reason why this issue is in the news. So because of that issue, we are not concerned about that issue. We are concerned about, based on this Damodar River, what type of questions would be asked. Okay, so we have to know everything about Damodar River. First thing which you have to understand is, Damodar River is a right bank tributary of Ganga first. Next, it is also called as an sorrow of Bengal, very important. Okay, and where does the river origin? It originates in Palamau Hills in Chota Nagpur Plateau, very important. Okay, it originates. They asked a question about Krishna, Godavari, where has it been originated? Okay, in UPSC, the river divides Chota Nagpur Plateau into Hazaribagh Plateau and Ranchi Plateau. Okay, Damodar River flows through an ancient rift zone. This river is flowing in Rift Valley. So previous year they asked about questions. Okay, not particularly what are the rivers which are flowing in Rift Valley. In the statements, in one of the statement, they asked about whether Mahanadi is it flowing in Rift Valley or not. So Damodar is flowing in Rift Valley. That is very much important. Okay, factual information which is very much important. Okay, okay, Damodar flows through an ancient rift zone. Other Indian Rift Valley rivers include, what are those? Narmada, Tapi, Son and Mahanadi. Okay, so Damodar river's drainage basin extends through Jharkhand and Gujarat, and the Damodar basin is very rich in resources. As I said, no, Chota Nagpur Plateau and this region, and that is the reason why this is been called as an Ruhr of India. In Germany, you know this, there is a region called Ruhr, and this region is rich in resources, steel, you know, around that region. Okay, steel industries, coal industries are flourishing. So that is the reason why it is called as a roar of India. Okay, almost half of India's coal reserves are there in this basin, and minerals like mica, bauxite, limestone is there. Okay, and Gondwana coal fields are located in this. We'll talk about Gondwana coal fields also. Like in India, in this Gondwana coal fields, what type of coal is do we get? What type of coal? Is it bituminous coal, anthracite coal, and what type of coal do we see in this region? It is bituminous coal. We'll talk about it, and we'll also talk in this videos only. We'll talk about the difference between bituminous and anthracite coals. So Damodar Valley is the core of India's Gondwana coal belt, and that coal accounts for 98% of Indian coal reserves. And what type of coal we see? Semi-bituminous. Okay. And this is also very much important. Damodar Valley Corporation, when did it been established? It is established in 1948, and this Damodar Valley Corporation is located. This information is very much important. It is located on Konar River. Okay, so these are all the factual information which are very much important from examination point of view. Okay, so till now we discussed about 5 places. Now we are moving to the very important location, very important place in news, that is Sir Creek issue. Now, what is this issue all about? Let me explain you in a brief time. Let me explain you briefly. Sir Creek is a place which is located between India and Pakistan. Okay, so Sir Creek is a tidal estuary in the run of Kutch opening into Arabian Sea. So it separates Gujarat from Pakistan, that is Sindh province. So here you have this Sir Creek issue. Now why this issue is in the news? See, why this issue is in the news is, as expected, Pakistan is claiming rights over entire Sir Creek region. This estuary, okay, why I am talking about this estuary is, it is not river, okay, and it is a marshy land, okay, and when I am saying that it is a wetland kind of thing, okay, there is a marshy land and it is not a complete river. Now the issue is, Pakistan is claiming entire rights over Sir Creek. Now India is saying that whenever there is a border divisions, there are an international principles. You have to follow international principles, and based on that international principles, you have to follow. According to the international principle, when we are talking about this coastal region sharing, there is a principle called, very important, Talweg principle. What is this principle? Talweg principle. Based on this Talweg principle, if at all between two countries, when there is a water body, how does the border would be shaped? If there is a land, you can clearly demarcate. But when it is a coastal region, when it is a marine area, how you are going to divide? So Talweg principle says that between these two regions, what is the deepest point? So around that deepest point, that border should be drawn. Okay, and around this deepest point, if border is drawn, the other side will, then you can clearly demarcate that. So according to this Talweg principle, India is saying that this green line you see, this line. So according to Talweg principle, this should be the middle between India and Pakistan. Now India's claim is very clear. So there should be a middle line where the deepest region is there. Around that region, you have to demarcate the border, and that should be the natural border between both the regions. Now first, Pakistan is claiming entire Sir Creek region to be the region of Pakistan, and what is the claim made by Pakistan is saying that this is not a river. If at all it is not a river, so Talweg principle will not applicable. That is the argument of Pakistan. But India is saying that although it is not a river, but it is a coastal area, it is a marshy land, and when there is a high tide, low tide and high tide, when there is a high tide, the region will be navigable. So when it is a navigable region, the border should be demarcated based on Thalweg principle. You are saying it is non-navigable region. We are saying it is clear that during high tide, boats can navigate through this region. So that is the reason why we have to demarcate this border. And according to earlier mentioned convention, earlier mentioned agreements also, there is a properly demarcated regions. According to 1914 or 1925, India have also shown the maps also, like how in 1925 only we demarcated the pillars between these two regions. Okay, so that is the issue. Now I hope you have briefly understood what is this Sir Creek issue. Now this area is also called as an Banganga. Okay, in many newspapers I have seen this thing. Okay, if at all it is Banganga, don't think it is something else. Okay, it is also referred to as Banganga. Okay, as I said, no, it is marshy uninhabited stretch where sea water mixes with river water, making the terrain unstable and ecologically fragile. Okay, why India is interested is because of geostrategic regions. It has resources also. Okay, oil and gas. So the dispute centers on different interpretations of maritime border. Okay, so I have explained all these issues. Now let us go to next topic. I hope you have understood that. Okay, so Thalweg principle is very much important, and you have to understand that Sir Creek is also called as a Banganga. Apart from that, everything is as I have explained. Now going to the next place in news. This place is very much important because it has become the core of contention between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. You know, between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, there is an prevailing issue. It is about Kaveri water, sharing of Kaveri water. So recently, Karnataka government has proposed a barrage. That is what we call as that barrage is called as an Mekadattu balancing reservoir. Okay, so in this Mekadattu reservoir, what Karnataka government want to do is, it want to construct a reservoir and it want to store water. Around 70 TMC of water they want to store. Now, the point here is, Karnataka is thinking of this reservoir and this has been questioned by Tamil Nadu. And government of Tamil Nadu went to Supreme Court. And Supreme Court, what it said is, the claim made by Tamil Nadu is premature. Okay, and there are some issues of Tamil Nadu which have to be addressed. So accordingly, what Karnataka have done is, Karnataka have given a detailed project report to Government of India and Supreme Court regarding this Mekadattu barrier. Okay, now what is the issue of Tamil Nadu? Tamil Nadu being the lower riparian regions, Tamil Nadu thinks that if they are storing water and this water, and it will deprive the share of water for Tamil Nadu. But Karnataka is saying that this reservoir is utmost need to share drinking water supply to Bangalore. You know, last 2 years, okay, in Bangalore, you see people faced water crunch. Drinking water was at crunch. Okay, so to address this is there. Now you understood what is the issue. Okay, about the project. It is located about 100 km from Bangalore at the confluence of Kaveri and its tributary Arkavati. Very important. So where is this Mekadattu project located? It is located at the confluence, mix of Kaveri river and Arkavati river. Okay, it involves building a balancing reservoir, storing a 67 TMC of water. Okay, and it mainly Karnataka, as I said, now what is the problem of Tamil Nadu? Tamil Nadu, the issue is, if Tamil Nadu is saying that prior informing Tamil Nadu, they might open this reservoir, that might also lead to flooding. Okay, so that is the issue they have been claimed, and they have also said that their share of water would be deprived. Karnataka stands. It argues that project is essential for Bangalore's drinking water needs and will help regulate the flow to Tamil Nadu, especially during distress year by storing excess water. Okay, when there is an drought years, they can use this water. Okay, they can share this water. So this is the reason why this issue is in the news. Next topic in the news. Okay, uranium reserves in India. Okay, sir, when previous year question, okay, in Andhra Pradesh, when Tumalapalli region, they discovered that there are uranium reserves, every newspaper covered about that, and UPSC has asked a question with respect to uranium reserves. And in Kerala also, in one beach sand, you see the presence of uranium. So that has also been asked. So this type of around uranium, and recently, when we talked about this uranium reserves and nuclear reactors capabilities, we have achieved, there is a significant achievement of India. Okay, now when we are talking about a kind of what you say, in 3-stage nuclear fuel thing also. So because of that factor also, this topic is very much important. So India has significant uranium deposits distributed across multiple regions. So where are these reserves? Mainly Jharkhand, in this region, Singhbhum province, Chotanagpur plateau, and you have in Andhra Pradesh, in Karnataka also you have, in Rajasthan also you have these reserves. Okay, so these places are very much in the news. Okay, and what are those? So the country's major uranium belts include Singhbhum shear region in Jharkhand, Aravalli fold belt Rajasthan, Bhima basin Karnataka, along with important reserves in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. In Andhra Pradesh it is Tumalapalli. Okay, Andhra Pradesh, one of the largest uranium reserves. And another in Jharkhand, what are the places which are in the news with respect to Jaduguda, Turamdi and Narwa Pahar. Okay. And now, what are the new places of uranium reserves which are in the news? It is in Jharkhand, Rajda, Kudada and Jaduguda North. Okay, these are in the news. In Rajasthan, Jahaz, Geration, Kidani, Karnataka, these places are in the news. Okay, so Meghalaya rat hole mining is banned in India. Okay, many government administrative has banned rat hole mining in India, but still we see rat hole mining is being practiced. How it has come to limelight is recently in Meghalaya, we see the prevalence of rat hole mining in Meghalaya, and because of illegal mining and explosion, we see 18 workers were killed. Okay, so NGT, National Green Tribunal, ordered a complete cessation of rat hole mining in 2014 only. What is rat hole mining? Like you create a small hole and you send individuals into it. Workers go into this and grab the minerals and come. Okay, in some geographically eco-sensitive regions, this type of practice has been done. But what is the point here is this is accompanied with so much of risk. So that is the reason why government of National Green Tribunal has banned this. So the ban was imposed due to unscientific nature of mining and its severe environmental impact, large scale deforestation and degradation of agriculture land. Okay, acid mine drainage leads to scarcity of waters and pollution of air and soil. Okay, so this is the reason why this is in the news. Meghalaya, where we see rat hole mining. Okay, so it is primitive subsurface mining method where small tunnels resembling rat holes are dug to extract coal. This method is often lacking engineering loops and sidewall protections, making them prone to collapse. As I said, no, like how rats dug holes. Okay. Now, in this region, when we are talking about this region, here why this rat hole mining is done, it is talking about they are extracting coal. Okay. So, we talked about Gondwana coal is there. 98% of the coal in India is Gondwana coal. So, in this presentation, we talked about what are the characteristics of coal. Okay, so in India, we have generally when we are talking about coal, there are 4 classifications. One is anthracite, bituminous, Gondwana. We have bituminous, semi-bituminous, lignite coal. Okay, so I talked about this, and UPSC has also given a question about this. So what is the best quality of coal? Why it is the best quality of coal? Why anthracite is the best quality of coal? Because high fuel efficiency, less smoke, and less impurities like ash gani, the ash moisture, that content is less. So that is the reason why anthracite coal is best quality of coal. Next you have bituminous coal, next you have lignite coal, and you have last one is peat. Okay, so what are the coal reserves in India? Okay, so India is the fifth largest geological coal reserves globally and second largest consumer. We have fifth largest reserves, but we are more consumers. We are the second largest consumer. Okay, so where we see coal reserves, the basins occurs in valley of Damodar Valley, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Mahanadi, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, and Godavari, Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh. So these are the areas where you see coal reserves are there. Okay. In just now we talked about Meghalaya. Okay. In Meghalaya there are hills, Garo, Khasi, Jaintia hills. So where rat hole mining is done. Have you understood? So they would not ask just about this place. They would link it with coal reserves as well. That is the reason why we are talking about additional information. Okay, Garo, Khasi, Jaintia hills are believed to have deposits of tertiary coal belonging to India. Sakshgam Valley. Next topic is Sakshgam Valley. See, when it comes to relations between India and China and Pakistan, we know that China's interest align with Pakistan and Pakistan interest aligns with China. That is the reason why they make sure that affect the interest. They will try to coordinatedly affect the interest of India. We know that in Jammu and Kashmir, Pakistan have occupied the territories of India. That is, Pakistan occupied Kashmir. So this area I am talking about. In this area, this entire area, even this region, the so-called this Sakshgam Valley was also once the territory of once occupied by Pakistan. So what happened is, Pakistan in 1963, what they have done is they have gave this territory to China. Now, why this territory is very much important for China? Why this territory is very much important for India? Below this Sakshgam Valley, we talk about this area called here you have Karakoram Range and here you have CHN Glacier. So this region is geostrategically important for India's security, and Sakshgam Valley and Aksai Chin is also with China, and this region of China we call it as in Xinjiang province. So for connectivity from Xinjiang to Pakistan, this valley is very much important. So that is the reason why this is in the news, and that is the reason why this issue is always a contentious issue between India and China. And India never recognized Sakshgam Valley as a territory of China, even Aksai Chin also. Okay, so now you understood what is the issue. So Chief of Army Staff recently reiterated India's long position regarding the Sakshgam Valley, stating that New Delhi considers the 1963 agreement between Pakistan and China to be illegal. Okay, let us talk about Sakshgam Valley. It is also known as the Trans-Karakoram Tract. It is situated north of Karakoram watershed, and historically it is deemed uninhabitable due to its remote location and harsh conditions. It is now seeing significant infrastructure development. Why it is seeing significant infrastructure development? Because of this China-Pakistan economic corridor. As we know, the China-Pakistan economic corridor runs through POK. The reason one of the reason why India is not a part of Belt Road Initiative is this: of all the seven pillars of Belt Road Initiative, one such pillar passes through India, and it is passing through POK. And without the permission of India, China is building highways in this region. So that is the reason why India rejects this India object to this China-Pakistan economic corridor. India rejects this China-Pakistan economic corridor. India rejects the claim of Pakistan and China rights over Sakchigram Valley. And why Sakchigram Valley is very much important? For province, for connectivity. In Xinjiang province, there is an insurgency which has been faced by China. So it is Muslim majority province. So they are revolting against Chinese government itself. So to counter that, they want proper connectivity. They want to address these insurgencies. So that is the reason why through this POK they want to connect with Pakistan, and through that they want to develop this Xinjiang province. Okay, since 2017, post Doklam issue, Doklam issue, China has been in a state of overdrive regarding infrastructural development in the region. So the areas witnessing construction of habitats including military habitation aimed at establishing permanent foothold. Analysts suggest China's intention is to solidify this tract and tie down Indian military resources by opening up new option for conflict or pressures. From Sakchigram Valley, as I said, from Sakchigram Valley, through this region, okay, they want to pressurize India. Here you have, below that only, to the east, you have Siachen Glacier. Okay, next topic is National Chambal Sanctuary. Chambal Sanctuary is located in Madhya Pradesh. So recently, this is in the news. Why it is in the news is because of, very interestingly, Supreme Court has taken a suo motu cognizance of this issue. Okay, about illegal sand mining in this region. Okay, and that is the reason why this is in the news. So Supreme Court recently took suo motu cognizance of rampant illegal mining in the National Chambal Sanctuary. National Green Tribunal has also earlier flagged that sand mining by organized mafias is the biggest threat to this region. Okay, so it is situated. Where is this Chambal Sanctuary situated? It is situated at the large arc of Chambal River. Okay, it is India's first and only tri-state riverine protected area. What are the three states which is protecting this area? One is Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. So it spans border between Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. What are the sanctuary harbors 90% of the world's population of, gharials. So 90% of the critically endangered gharials are located here, and it also provides critical refuge, means those riverine dolphins which need shelter. So this area is providing that shelter. Okay, and bird diversity you see, and this Chambal Sanctuary is treated as an important birding area. Okay, very few areas are being recognized as important birding area, and one such area is Chambal. It hosts numerous migratory water birds. It is notably a crucial breeding ground for the endangered Indian skimmer, okay, whose nesting islands are monitored and protected by conservative initiatives. So many migratory birds are also nesting here, but in this region we see illegal sand mining is there. Definitely when sand is being mined, so that aquatic ecosystem will be impacting. Okay, they cannot act as an aquifer. Okay, so that is the reason why this region is under threat. So what are the flora and fauna which is very significant in this region, that you have to note. Okay, now moving to the next topic. This is very important, and this topic is also very important, and this place in news is very much important. We are talking about Coco Island. Where is this Coco Island located? Coco Island is located near here. This is where Coco Island is located, to the north of Andaman and Nicobar. Who entails authority in that region? It is Myanmar. Now, why this island is in the news? And very interestingly, we will talk about another port in India. Okay, that port is Rambili Port. Okay, Rambili Port, why government of India recently is developing Rambili port. Why it is very much important. What is the relationship between this Coco Island and Rambili port? Okay, what is project INS Varsha? Everything is interrelated. Okay, so in this, okay, so we will be talking about the connectivity between Coco Island, Rambili port and project INS Varsha. Okay, we'll talk about these regions. Okay, these three things will be clear now. Coco Island has been a focal point of geopolitical tension involving between India, China and Myanmar. Why? Coco Islands are a small archipelago in the northeast Bay of Bengal, located roughly around 150 to 200 kilometers north of Andaman Islands and 400 kilometers from the west coast of Myanmar's Rakhine state. They are administrative part of Myanmar. Now, what is the issue is, let me tell you. See, as I said, no, in this Indian Ocean region, we see the sphere of influence of India. Okay, India has significant influence over Indian Ocean region. Okay, India is the net security provider in Indian Ocean region. Everyone knows that. World knows that, and particularly China knows that. So, Indian being the net security provider in Indian Ocean region means India has significant sphere of influence over entire this Indian Ocean region, from the Gulf of Aden through Persian Gulf to Indian Ocean, Strait of Malacca. Okay, so this region, India has significant influence. China is trying to counter this sphere of influence. Now the major problem is China is increasing its presence in Indian Ocean region. China next target is to establish base in Coco Islands. The Coco Islands is of Myanmar. So if it is in Myanmar, why would China establish a base, and why India should be worried? The point is, in Myanmar we see there is an insecurity. Okay, instability is there. There are two governments which are ruling in Myanmar, that you know. Okay, so the junta government. So junta government is having influence in some region, other government is having influence in another region. Okay, so that you know. So now already junta government, which is establishing, which has sphere of influence over Rakhine state, has given assurance to India saying that Coco Islands will not slip away from the control of Myanmar, and it will not go into the hands of China. Now, this assurance has been given, but we see recently construction activities and all are going, some planned activities is being developed by China. So that is the reason why India is very much worried about this Coco Islands. And another reason why it is very much concerned is India. See, here you have Visakhapatnam. Near to Visakhapatnam, Government of India is developing a port called Rambili port. Now this port is being particularly developed. Okay, and as I said, no, we are INS Varsha. What is this INS Varsha? Through this INS Varsha, we are going to develop a port. In this port, we are going to use submarines, nuclear submarines. Okay, so we are going to use this port for nuclear submarines, to hold nuclear submarines in this region. Okay, Eastern Naval Command, which is under the control of Visakhapatnam, is developing this port, and Government of India is developing this. So the point of concern is these both are on one, this same parallels. These are located at parallels, and that is the reason why Government of India is considering that if this island goes into the hands of China, and it will, next target will be this Rambili port. So that is the reason why this Coco Island is in the news, and this port city of Rambili is also in the news. Now you might have understood that. So that, what is the strategic significance? Okay, Coco Islands lie directly in line with Malacca state. As I said, no, From here you have Malacca Strait that connects Indian Ocean to the South China Sea and they are located in India's naval background, very close to India's Andaman. Their location is considered ideal for intercepting signals related to missile test. As I said, no, where is this located? Ramboli Port. Okay, India's missile test, submarine operations and other sensitive military activities. So that is the reason why this Coco Islands is in the news. Okay, so although Myanmar has given assurance that defense talks in September 25, Myanmar junta government assured India that no Chinese nationals were present, but did not respond to Indian request to send naval personnel for inspection. Okay, so this is in the news. Now we understood what is Coco Island, what is Ramboli Port. Okay, and remember Project INS Varsha. Through this we are developing that region to hoist nuclear submarines and for missile testing also. That will be very much important, that port. Now, next important point is Red Corridor. What is Red Corridor? You know, in India was a victim to Naxalism. Okay, threat of Naxalism. So recently Government of India has decided March 31st, 2026 would be the final date. By the date we want to end terrorism in India. Okay, so on October 17, Prime Minister Narendra Modi pledged India's freedom from Maoist terror, citing recent success in countering threats with 303 Naxal operatives surrendered in 75 hours. So what is this? This is Red Corridor. Earlier left-wing extremism was there in India in how many places? How many districts? It was there in 182 districts. This was there in 2013. But this has been decreased. Recently, by 2017, it has been reduced to 90 districts. Now we have to understand that it is a good thing that Naxalism is there only in 3 districts. Okay, what are those districts? Let's see. Okay, most affected districts are 3 districts are there in Chhattisgarh: Bijapur, Sukma and Narayanpur. Current status according to October 2025 is the number of affected districts has further reduced to 11. Okay, why this progress we have seen is because of initiatives like Naxal Mukt Bharat. So government has set a target to completely eliminate armed Naxalism from India by March 31st, 2026. And there was also policy. National Policy and Action Plan was employed as a multi-pronged approach, combining security measures with developmental initiatives. What are the developmental initiatives? Why Naxalism is there? Socio-economic development could not happen. So we are promoting education, skill development, ensuring financial inclusion. And there is also an operation. One is Naxal Mukt Bharat. Next one is Samadhan Doctrine. It was unveiled in 2017. So, okay. Next we have also Operation Black Forest. It is a joint anti-Naxal operation conducted by, very important, what is Operation Black Forest? It is a joint anti-Naxal operation conducted by security forces who are the CRPF and DRG and Cobra. So these coordinatively have conducted Operation Black Forest. And Pradhan Mantri Jan Jatiya Unnat Gram Abhiyan. As I said, no, to address Naxalism, we have to break the Naxalite sympathizers. When can you break the Naxalite sympathizers? Why would people become Naxalite sympathizers? Is when they are not developed, when the development is not reaching grassroots. If development is reaching grassroots, definitely they would not depend on Naxalites. Okay. Next, very important. Recently, this cold desert biosphere is in the news. We look into what is this cold desert biosphere, why is it in the news. First of all, what is this biosphere reserve? Tell me, what do you understand by biosphere reserve? See, biosphere reserve is nothing but it is a laboratory of sustainable development. Means through this concept of biosphere reserve, we are trying to promote we are trying to conserve environment, we are trying to protect forest, and we are also implementing sustainable practices. Through that, we are protecting the culture of the people who are living, we are providing livelihood to them, but this livelihood will not impact forest. So that is what we call as an biosphere. So that is the reason why biospheres is called as an laboratories for sustainable development. In these biospheres, we see people are not being thrown away from that. People are staying there, but we are changing their behavior. We are changing their practices. Okay, so that is what we call as an biosphere. So recently, why it is in the news is this cold desert biosphere has been included under UNESCO's list of biospheres. In India, there are 18, very important. In India, there are 18 biospheres. Out of these 18 biospheres, 13 with this cold desert, 13 biospheres has been included in UNESCO's World Network of Biospheres. Okay, how many biospheres are there in India? 18 biospheres. How many with cold desert including under World Network of Biosphere Reserve? How many biospheres are there in UNESCO's? 13. Okay, what is the first biosphere? Nilgiri. Okay, what is the largest biosphere? Okay, so these topics are very much important. Okay, so what are these biospheres? Where are they located? That is very much important. In the news, this is there, cold desert biosphere. So we will be talking about this biosphere. Okay, so first biosphere is Nilgiri. That is very much important. Apart from that, what is the largest biosphere? Where are these biospheres are located? Very important. Please go and do additional reading on that. Okay, see, this is cold desert biosphere. Okay, cold desert biosphere in where is it located? It is located in Himachal Pradesh, was officially included in World Network of Biosphere Reserves. It includes, very important, this cold desert biosphere include Pin Valley National Park, Kibber Wildlife Sanctuary, Chendartal Wildlife Sanctuary. Very important. So what are the places which it includes? Pin Valley National Park. Pin Valley National Park. See, there is a difference between working hard and smart study. There are so many national parks in India. You cannot remember all the things. But UPSC will ask a question from national park, but how to make sure that which national park definitely have to be studied? Those national parks which are in the news. So Pin Valley National Park is in the news. So go and read what are all the critically endangered species, what is the drainage system, what are the rivers which are flowing in this Pin Valley National Park. Okay, next is Kibber Wildlife Sanctuary, next Chendartal Wildlife Sanctuary. Next, what you should know about cold desert biosphere. Okay, so as I said, it includes all these species, all these protected areas. What are the flora and fauna? Okay, fauna, it includes, the reserve is critical habitat for snow leopard. Okay, some of the threatened fauna another important is Himalayan brown bear. These two species are very much important. Next, very important is, what are that? One is snow leopard and another is Himalayan brown bear. These two things are very much important. And the floral diversity is also there. And this region is famous for alpine meadows and agro-pastoral lifestyle. And in this Himachal Pradesh, you see, very important, we see the practice of this. What is Sowa Rigpa? Sowa Ringpa. It is a traditional medicine practice system. Sowa Rigpa is very much important. Sowa Ringpa was a previous year question. Why it was a previous year? What is Sowa Rigpa? It is a traditional medicinal practice system which is prevalent on the soil of India. Okay. Now, why it is very important is because, there is a Ministry of Ayush. Ayush has officially recognized 7 traditional practices, medicinal practices. What are those? One is naturopathy, Unani, Siddha, yoga. So there are 7 such type of practices that has been recognized by Ayush. Okay, Unani, Siddha. One is Sovarikpa. Okay. Next you have Ayurveda. Okay, so these are the 7 which has been recognized, and Sowa Rigpa is Tibetan medicinal system which is also prevalent in Himachal Pradesh, and this Sowa Rigpa is majorly based on the floral diversity which is present in that region. Okay, so that is the reason why this issue is very much important. Next. Okay, Aravalli ranges. Why it is in the news? No, you know, recently Supreme Court has given a definition with respect to forest. Absolute definition has been given by Supreme Court, and we see so much of criticism with that. That is the reason why Supreme Court is reviewing its own decision. It is still pending in the Supreme Court. So, Supreme Court in an order in last month settled a uniform definition of Aravallis. As I said, no, this is still been what you say. Supreme Court is reviewing it, so we will not go into that. Now, why significance of Aravalli range? Aravalli ranges belong to Zoic era. This is very much important. So Aravalli ranges belong to Proterozoic era, nearly 2 billion years old. Okay, is India's oldest fold mountain system. Okay, and it stretches from 650 kilometers from Delhi to Gujarat. Very important. Once they have asked a question, in how many districts, in how many states does we see the stretch of Aravalli hills? It covers 29 districts of Gujarat, Rajasthan, Haryana and Delhi. So how many states it has been spread? Gujarat, Rajasthan, Haryana and Delhi. So this is a previous year question, very important. What is the significance is, you know, Thar desert in Rajasthan, you know, Thar desert. Because of Aravalli hills only, the Thar desert did not expand into Haryana, Gujarat and regions. Okay, Aravalli hills helped arrest the eastward spread of Thar desert into Haryana, Rajasthan and Western Uttar Pradesh, and play a major role in stabilizing climate, supporting biodiversity and recharging groundwater. See, for recharging of groundwater, Aravalli hills are very much important because they have a fractured rock system. Aravalli hills have fractured rock system and which supports aquifer recharge. Okay, and Aravalli range is also seen. There are so many origin of many important rivers. One is Sabarmati, Chambal and Luni. It is richly endowed with sandstone, limestone, marble, granite and minerals. And recently, you know, as you know, central government has launched this Greenwall, Aravalli Greenwall project. It was launched by central government in June 2025. The plan is to expand green cover in 5-kilometer buffer area around the hills. This, if the hill is there, around this 5, near to this Aravalli hills, 5 kilometers, they are planning to expand this green cover. Okay, and as I said, no, government, as there are so many illegal mining activities is there, like Supreme Court have to intervene and Supreme Court gave a definition. And when you go through that definition, many people, it is a fact that through that definition, till now, what was the protection which was enjoyed by these hills? Ecological protection, okay, or safety measures, which an environmental ecological measures which has been enjoyed, protection which was there, will be removed. Means nothing but only few regions of Aravalli hills will be considered as forest, and those only will be protected. And that means nothing but majority of the areas of Aravalli hills will be considered as not forest and will not have any environmental protection. So that is the reason why Supreme Court is reviewing its own decision. That is still in the preview of judiciary. With respect to in Indian Ocean region, there is a ridge called Carlsberg Ridge. So in Indian Ocean region, you have this Carlsberg Ridge. The Carlsberg Ridge is in mid-oceanic ridge located in between Northwest Indian Ocean. Now, why is it in India is, recently India received a license to explore minerals in this region from the International Seabed Authority. International Seabed Authority has given permission for exploring minerals in this region. And this region, Indian Ocean region has this, when it comes to Indian Ocean region, they have polymetallic nodules. So in this Carlsberg Ridge, we have sulfide deposits. So, and also manganese, cobalt, nickel. So that is the reason why this is very significant. So you should know where is this ridge located. Okay. So it is located, it forms the boundary between India and Arabian. So Arabian tectonic plates. So this is where it is located. Chalo, we'll continue the next part in part 2. Okay. So in the part 2, we will cover about all the important places of the world. Okay. In the next part, we will cover all the important places in the world. Thank you.